Second video by an underrated guy. I never actually watched him, but I'm assuming he's underrated. What is the hardest thing in Geometry Dash? Before we start, obviously a lot of people would be like, what do you mean? Society. Beating society is the hardest thing. No, I would argue that exasperation 67% is harder than beating society. Let's get into the video and see what he has to say.
What if I told you that there's something more difficult than beating every extreme demon in the game? This task—
Okay, that's a bit crazy. Beating every single one seems really hard, but we'll see.
is so inconceivably difficult, and yet there's a group of people working together right now to try and complete this. I'll get to what this is in just a moment, but first—
Is it the group that's trying to beat every level? Because that's crazy. That's just not possible because new levels are getting posted. Like, they're trying to be every rated one. That's just not possible.
First, let me ask you a simple question. Which of these two jumps are harder? Hopefully, you would have said that the one on the right is harder, and this is objectively true. At 60 FPS, the triple spike takes about twice as much precision. Determining this was easy and really simple to do, but what about for an entire Geometry Dash level? If you're seeing where I'm going with this, then you might have already guessed what I'm about to say next. The single most difficult thing in Geometry Dash isn't even playing the hardest level.
It's going to be rating them and scaling them based on difficulty.
It's ranking them by difficulty.
I don't really agree with that. I feel like playtesters will just know, like, if Zoink plays it, he has a very good knack for telling what is good or what is easy and what is hard because he's so good.
Now I know what you're thinking.
Oh, but we already have a demon list and they already rank the difficulty of the levels and it's not that hard.
They're talking about the impossibles list. They're talking about the impossibles list.
Clear up this misconception. The demon list ranks the perceived difficulty of levels, which is different to objective difficulty. This is because a player's perception to how difficult a level is varies greatly between player to player. Factors like bias and
like, that's why I think, whoa, what is this?
Individual.
Like, that's why I think 9 circles is like impossible, but some people who are wave carried say Future Funk is harder than 9 circles. I'm seeing what he's saying.
Skill sets, glory, consistency, and so much more influence how difficult a level feels to any given player. But is it even possible to come up with a factual, objective list that is 100%
no
accurate? Let's
Yes, I actually saw somebody propose an idea, what's it called? An equation for how we can do it based on like timings and memory component. It was really cool. So yes, it is.
Find out. The first thing we need to do is understand how the current demon list works and why it keeps getting hate for being inaccurate. Many of you guys will already know how this works, so I'll make sure to keep it short. But if we look on the—
I feel like if you're hating on the demon list, you're a little bit of a cornball. Actually, I'm not even going to sugarcoat it. You're a major cornball. You know how much time and effort that takes and how, it's pretty accurate, bro. Like, come on, hop off.
Demon list website, we can see that when considering potential level placements and movements, players are contacted by the list team for their placement opinion and reliability. An opinion sheet is then used to aggregate the opinions of all reliable players.
I feel like that's valid. Like, yeah, that means that it's subjective and not objective, but still, that's somewhat valid because how else are we gonna know? It's not like we can all beat them.
Essentially, if you beat a top extreme demon, a list moderator will ask you and a bunch of other players how difficult the level was. They'll exclude outliers and the opinions of those who seem untrustworthy to the list, calculate the average—
how much what's it called? Like, how much inspiration or how much do they take Zoink's opinion into account, do you think? Into account? I'm guessing Zoink's opinion alone is probably like 30% of it. Actually, I just lied because Zoink's opinion is probably not trustworthy because, like, he said Orbit was like top 30 or whatever, and then it was placed at like 5 or whatever. He underrates how hard the levels are.
And then that's how the list placement gets made. Two players with the exact same skill level could have completely different experiences playing the same level due to factors that are external to the game. So how could we make the perfect demon list? Let's go.
I mean, honestly, bro, that's like if you get broke up while you're mid-run, you just gotta block the girl and then finish the run. I mean, or you could go about it with you don't get a girl until you beat Sonic Wave, like that one guy where he got a girlfriend as he beat the level. That's also a good route.
Go back to the question I asked earlier in the video. Which of these two jumps are harder? We can—
the triple spike, that is not subjective.
Definitely feel that a triple spike is tighter than a double spike. But how could we quantify this? This is
how many frames you have, how many frames there are where you survive instead of die compared to the double spike.
Where we can use frame windows. The biggest contributing factor to a level's difficulty are simply the timings of each input. And a way that we can measure this is through frame windows. It works by analyzing each click that a player would have to make in order to complete any given jump. This would be done by getting the position.
Wait, it's a 12 frame perfect triple spike is, or a double spike?
Position of the earliest possible frame, the latest possible frame, and then adding them together. And as a baseline to determine which of two levels are harder, you could add up all the frame windows that appear
No, because then what about memory and stuff in Deco?
in the level, divide
That works for layouts, but not the other ones.
it by the amount of clicks that you need to do, and whichever level allows more frames is easier. But what about for a situation like this? As you can see, we technically do only have one frame where
What just happened?
the input is registered, making it technically a frame perfect. So how could we account for buffers? Well, all we have to do is start counting the frames from over here. This spider input has a total of 95 frames. Simple enough, right? But a level
Wait, that's how a buffer works? If you press it in the air, it'll just press when there's something to press. But then how do you miss orbs and stuff? How does that work?
level's average frame window is just one factor of the seemingly never-ending task, and the next things that we have to figure out are borderline impossible. The second thing to take into account are the different game modes. You could have the exact same frame window in a level, but the perceived difficulty can
Yeah, wait, what's the hardest frame perfect? Is it a ship? Ship? No, I don't think it's a swing. Or it's a robot. I think it's a robot. I'm pretty sure I saw that somewhere. Wave is the easiest, wave and cube.
vary by vast amounts, depending on which game mode you're playing as. What this means for our difficulty formula is, we'll have to find some way to account for which game mode
A formula, not an equation. That's what I was looking for.
each input is done on. So the first thing to do would be to split the game modes into two groups: static and dynamic. A static game mode is anything where the duration that you hold down for doesn't affect your trajectory. Stuff like the ball, cube, and spider go here.
Those are much easier frame perfects, much easier.
Then there are the dynamic game modes. Essentially, game modes where your release time does make a difference. By default, dynamic game modes are twice as difficult, because instead of just
Because you have to count for how long, and yeah.
timing your click, you also have to think about when to release. So for a formula, we can just say that any difference made by
Aren't estimate frame perfects the hardest thing? When it's like you can't really, like, it's not like a tight corridor or something that you have. Like if your wave, it's not like very tight. It's like a random spike tower that's like low, and then you have to figure out where. Because then isn't that like 4 times as hard because you have double the difficulty?
game modes will get multiplied by 2 if the game mode is dynamic. This is simplifying things by a lot, but have you seen any top level these days? These are pretty much all frame perfect clicks and releases. To give an example,
Wait, is that grief? Is that grief? The grief has that many?
these days, these are pretty much
Oh my gosh.
all frame perfect clicks and releases. To give an example of how this double multiplier could look, let's say that one frame perfect cube jump would increase the difficulty of any level by 4 points. Instead, if it was a frame perfect wave timing,
It would be 8 points.
you would multiply those 4 points
Let's go, guys. But wave is easy though. I'm so lost.
by 2. This isn't a perfect solution, but it'll do. Alright, so we have a way to differentiate static and dynamic game modes, but we still don't know the individual difficulties of each one in comparison to one another. But to fix that, we can look at the readability of each game mode and how much they're affected by
See, that's why the guesstimate ones or the estimate frame perfects are hard, because there's no readability.
physics. Following this rule, the easiest game modes in GD are the wave and the spider because they literally follow straight lines. And we can use this logic to continue for the rest of the game modes. Starting with all of the dynamic game modes first, the wave is by far the easiest because it goes in a straight line and it
Robots. I don't know if robot or ship's harder.
isn't
Probably robot.
affected by physics. Then we have the robot, and lastly, the ship. For the
Ship is harder than the robot for frame perfects. Really?
static game modes, the easiest is the spider, then we have the ball, followed by the UFO, cube, and lastly the swing. So for our formula, we can add slight multipliers based on how difficult each one is.
So oh my gosh. So the ship. So the wave is 1x, but it's 2x because it's always automatically doubled. So that means the ship would be 3.6 times harder than like the spider.
So to find the overall difficulty, we'll track how many times a jump is made with each game mode, multiply each jump by their difficulty factor, and total the score. Then divide that by the level's average frame window, and what we have is essentially an ultra simplified version of
Wait, no, this is making sense. This guy's kind of the go.
NaN/GD's formula for calculating a level's difficulty. For reference, this is what his math looks like, but we can still go further to add more.
People do that deep? They have math and stuff included? Oh, heck no. Is that why we learned the Pythagorean theorem? Is for ranking Geometry Dash levels?
Accuracy. And one way to do this is to consider the length of a level. And this, in theory, is pretty simple to calculate. Something that...
Oh my gosh, wait, what about we haven't included memory or nerves yet. Those are the two things, which nerves is kind of length.
might make sense is just checking the number of seconds in a level, and the higher it is, the higher that our total score would get multiplied. Except there are a few huge problems with doing that.
That's exponential and that's not good.
Firstly, the difficulty of a level doesn't increase linearly with time. Instead, it increases exponentially.
Wait, so I was right about one thing, but wrong about that it wasn't good?
If we took a level like Amethyst, which has a length of 1 minute and 42 seconds, and we just doubled everything so that you'd effectively have to complete Amethyst twice in a row, the doubled version wouldn't simply be twice as difficult, it would be many...
Oh my gosh, wait, that makes sense. That'd be like a lot times harder.
Many times harder than the
It'd be like, yeah, it'd be the amount squared of difficulty, if that makes sense.
original. So what's the solution? Now let me be honest here, I'm really grasping at straws, but essentially we need to find an exponential multiplier for each jump done further from the start of the level. Now, as anyone progresses through beating a level, their consistency increases drastically throughout the entire experience. And
Their consistency gets higher.
nerves don't really settle in until you're either at a new best or you've reached around 70% in the level. So instead of a drastic exponential curve, it would be really slight. Something like the difficulty of any jump, represented as d, multiplied by 1.005 to the power of t, or time in seconds from the level's start.
Why are we increasing it by 0.5%? Why is that the number?
With this idea, a frame-perfect jump at 3 minutes into the level would be just under 2.5 times harder than a frame-perfect at the first second into a level.
I think you just trial and errored it where this math is confusing me, bro. Yeah, I'm glad that I'm good at math because, like, this is actually, like, it kind of makes sense to me, but it's like, I'm trying to kind of figure out how it's all connected and it's kind of messing with me.
We can also estimate that the difficulty of any jumps made in the last 10% of a level can get multiplied by 2 because of nerfs. Alright, so it seems like we're almost done, but let's just check what other variables we'd have to include.
Memory. Bro, it's impossible to do anything because you can't do an objective based off like deco and stuff. Because, like, for example, Jill, you're a lot better than me at 2.2 deco, like levels and sight reading and stuff, and that's just how it is. Like, and it'll range for everyone. Like, you can't really put a number on that. $499. Oh wait, rest section. Wait, why is this all true? Oh my gosh, fatigue. Oh my gosh, did he actually do all this? Oh yeah, because some people build patterns differently. That's what that is. Oh my gosh.
Overwhelmed with how much you have left to do, you decide to open Discord to search for answers. When a stream of notifications catches your attention, you open it to see that it's 2 people arguing about the difficulty of an extreme demon. These people have never met each other in their entire lives, and yet, here they are. Fighting so passionately, you slowly feel a smile crawl across your face as you realize what you're trying to do would bring peace to the Geometry Dash community, which is
bro, no player wants peace. It's so fun to have these debates.
why you decide to scrap the idea and enjoy the drama.
Bro, actually, W video. This guy's so underrated. He has less than 2K subs. He has less than 2K subs. Genuinely go, like, I'm not trolling. Like, the same thing with all the videos that I say this in. Sub and like this video. I don't care that you watched it. Have it up and watch it in a muted tab, because I don't just want to steal their views. That was a goated video. That was a goated video, and he's low-key right about how you don't wanna bring peace to Geometry Dash communities, bro. Debating is it's fun, and it's what kind of ironically unites the community.